It's not about products, not about price. The phrase they use is, I like somebody with a unique understanding of my needs and my environment.
And now,
Aye, aye. I'm the captain now.
coming to you from the K2 studios in San Diego, California.
This sounds great. You sound amazing.
I always sound amazing.
It's the world famous
Everybody's sitting off like BFFs.
Kris and Kristine Show. Hey, what's happening? How are you doing today? Thank you so much for listening, and I am Kris.
And I'm Kristine, and welcome to episode 161 of the Kris and Kristine Show.
Oh, glorious, glorious, and hopefully no more rain Sunday, as it's been raining like crazy over here.
Yeah, it wasn't even a sunny Sunday. It was a dreary Sunday, but you know what?
What's that, baby?
Cheers to the weekend. I'm sitting here with my cup. What does it say on it?
It says, because kids.
Because kids. And what is it full of? I'm referring to it as a mimosa because it's not in the morning, so it's not a mimosa. It's a mimosa. It's, 80% champagne, maybe 95% champagne, and a little spritz of orange juice.
Wait a second. Are you telling me that for the first time in the history of the Kris and Kristine Show, you're actually drinking while podcasting?
I'm not drinking. Well, I have a beverage. I always have a beverage. It just normally happens to be clear liquid that's called water.
Agua.
And tonight I just needed some vitamin C and something that's going to help me get some vitamin Z.
I wonder if mimosas are a good thing that a doctor would order somebody that would really want to knock out, but also boost their immune system.
That's
at
what
the
I'm
same
saying.
time.
It's vitamin C and vitamin Z.
It's almost like
Z's.
Yes, definitely Z's. Almost like NyQuil. NyQuil's some good stuff. I love NyQuil. By the way.
Yeah, that sounds unhealthy, but
I don't drink it for dinner. But I'm saying that I heard long ago that if you're going to go on a long flight and you want to just knock yourself out, do a shot of NyQuil in the airplane.
Well, that's unhealthy. People say Benadryl too, because Benadryl does help with motion sickness and stuff too. But it's just been a long weekend, and I was just unwinding. And I rarely have a glass of wine, and I don't really like wine that much. But champagne isn't bad, and so I figured I'd opened a bottle earlier. I had some clients over. We were doing their floral preview for their wedding. And they actually didn't have any champagne. I had a mimosa bar and everything, and they didn't even touch it. And I was so sad because I'd done all of this work.
Oh yeah, you had all that food you had out. They didn't eat anything.
They just kind of nibbled on a few little things here and there. And I went to town. I made little mini quiches. I had a little charcuterie plate. I had fruits and veggies and dip, and I had soda, sparkling sodas and orange
what?
juice.
A sparkling soda? What is that?
It's a blood orange sparkling soda. It's like an Italian soda.
No way.
I had it all there, and it was so cute. And they didn't drink it or eat it very much.
Is there alcohol in this sparkling thing?
No, it's not. It's just sweet. But I really wanted them to enjoy it, but to each his own. So you know what? Bottoms up. I'm enjoying it.
Oh yeah, as Kristine takes a big chug of her mommy drink over there. Because of kids, we drink. It's
no, not because of kids. Because kids, my mommy drink. That sounds so inappropriate. Let's go have a mommy drink.
It's mommy time. You call it me day, me time. Really, you see all those wine glasses and wine decor were because of the mom. No, it's because of kids. Mommy drink and things like that. You say,
No, I don't have anything like that. Just this that your sister gave me for Christmas last year.
I think she used it and gave it back to you because she had her kids, so I figure out, did she drink and now she gave it back to you?
No. Oh, what's so funny though is this morning you gave me my mug for my coffee and it said Mom Fuel. And then it was a 2-pack. It was the Mom Fuel mug and the Because Kids wine glass.
Yeah, it's like morning and night. You got
exactly.
both in the package. That's awesome. Yeah. So how has your week been? I know you haven't been feeling well. You've been kind of sick again.
Well, still, it's taken me forever to fight off this nasty virus that I've been battling. Oh, it's really taken a toll. I think it's just because work has been really, really busy. I've been on the go around the clock. But, it's been good. My day job has been keeping me super busy. It's a very busy season for us. and I've been taking on some different levels of responsibilities because we've had some different shifts happening within my organization. But overall, I mean, it's good. I just tomorrow morning am launching a really big countywide professional learning, and it's kind of a big deal. And so we're finishing up the podcast tonight so that I can, and I'm having my mimosa. So right after this, I could go up and tuck myself into bed so that I'm up bright and early because I have to be on the road to work at 6:15.
No way. We get to, wait a second. Stop the press. You got to be on the road at 6:15 in the morning?
Yeah.
Do cars even run at that early in the morning? I don't even know. How would I know that?
I don't know. I don't know if you've ever seen 6:15 in your life.
Well, not lately. I did used to work day shift many years ago in my job, and that was brutal.
What is that? What is that word?
Brutal.
Brutal?
Brutal.
What's a brutal?
Well, it was horrible. Let me
It's
tell
like
you.
the toll of brews?
It felt like it. Yeah. I had to be at work at 3:40 in the morning, which for some of you might thinking that's when I go to bed. I know. 3:40 in the morning, I had to be at work and ask if I was late. Just ask if I was late every day.
Well, I already know the answer to that because you're late everywhere, every day of your life.
Pretty much every day. I'd roll in at late every single day. I remember one morning I was running to work kind of late, and I had my other truck and I'm flying on the freeway. And that early in the morning, there's not a lot of cars out there. And this CHP highway patrol officer, who was a female, by the way, comes up next to me. And I'm like, oh, freaking out. There's a cop next to me. And he surely ran parallel to my truck on the freeway. I was probably doing maybe 70 or 75. Wasn't going really fast,
Yeah.
but and just matches me right next to me. I look over and I'm like, uh-oh. And I give her the, hey, what's up, head nod? How you doing? And then
Did she pull you over at that point?
No, she just let me go, and I kept on going, and I was into that. But my heart was pounding. Let me tell you, you in the morning.
You did the sup, girl.
Yeah,
sup, hottie.
How you doing? By the way,
I like your ride. Oh, you want to give me a ticket? All right.
Yeah. Well, luckily I got out of it, and I got to work on time. And
oh, you want to put me in handcuffs?
Well,
but
I do find women in uniform to be very attractive.
I thought you were going to say women in handcuffs.
Yes. By the way, I was about to tell you at her wedding, I wanted to actually have handcuffs instead of rings. It almost suitable for the wedding, but I get it.
What?
The ball and chain.
No, handcuffs or a ball and chain.
Well, ball and chain and the handcuffs. I'm saying handcuffs to the ball and chain.
That's so funny. I was just I had a meeting with with two of my clients this evening. We were on Zoom and we were chatting about they were asking if I had any guidance on where they could go shopping for the groom's wedding band. And so I was asking him, that's when I was calling you out of the office. I called you over to show them yours. And I asked him, I was like, so do you have an idea of what you want your wedding band to look like? And he's like, I was thinking barbed wire. And I was like,
oh, interesting.
Barbed wire with a ball and chain etched on it. And he was like, yeah, the pain of marriage. I started laughing. I'm like, wow, at least he's got a sense of humor about it.
Well, actually going to do that for real? Like a barbed wire? I don't know if he did that. Now, are they...
Didn't Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox, didn't he make her engagement ring have some kind of thorns on it so that there was pain
I don't
if
know
she
what
took it off?
those two crazy lovebirds are up to these days, drinking each other's blood. Who knows what?
Relationship goals.
I mean, that's the kind of love you really want.
Till the bitter end.
Literally and physically. Crazy.
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy.
Hey, speaking of crazy, I've been sucked into this new show on Netflix. I don't even want to hear
about it. Ugh.
Oh, I it's an older show, not that old. It's been around since 2019, but it's on Netflix, and I just discovered it totally randomly on YouTube for some reason. It's called Love,
Death, Robots, right?
Love, Death, and Robots.
Okay.
I guess each show has some theme of each one in each show. A little bit of love.
Or is it the robots kill them?
It's in some episodes, yeah. It's each show has its own thing. So each episode is its own unique show. So nothing's tied to each other. It's not like a story.
So they don't have recurring characters. It's completely different.
Exactly. So
That's bizarre.
So you can jump in on any episode. And I jumped in the middle of season 3 or season 2, whatever it was. And I didn't even know because like I said, each one, it's its own story. The whole show is its own story.
That's so bizarre. How
Yeah.
long are they?
They're not very, very short. They're like, some are like 10 minutes and some are like 17 minutes.
How do you get the whole story?
It's very good editing. It's very good storytelling. You know, if you think about it, there are some very miniature size, like
People?
yeah, that and them
I
shows
love
too.
them.
Yes. There are some miniature sized movies. Like I think didn't on the beginning of Toy Story or some of those Pixar movies.
Oh, yeah. The Pixar shorts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think of those, but very R rated and very like gross and people dying. And
Pixar.
there was a pirate one I watched too, where this big like crab thing like attacks the pirate ship and like lives in the basement of the.
I don't want to hear this. I'm going to have nightmares.
Okay, well, they are very. I think it's why I didn't sleep very well last night. And I think about it. I was watching a bunch of these last night.
It's because of whatever you fill your mind with.
They are very like Walking Dead-ish kind of stuff.
Okay, yuck. Don't talk anymore about it. That's gross.
Well, I thought it was fantastic.
I am very sensitive to those types of things, like making me have bad nightmares. So,
Well, I'm sorry for bringing it up, but I've just been fascinated with the show since I just discovered it and I've started watching it and started binge watching it, you know. And I usually binge watch things very often. I remember the time I actually binge watched The Walking Dead
yeah.
to actually get caught up on the seasons because I was like, I think they were like going into season 4 and I had just started season 1. So I like totally binge watched the first 3 seasons. Like every night after work, I'd watch them. Guess who had nightmares?
Okay, so what does this say? I've asked this question before. What does this say about you as a person that you're drawn to like very gross things about death and serial killers and zombies and darkness? Like, is this your way of telling me that your like alter ego is like an axe murderer?
No, I'm just saying.
And you just pretend to be this happy-go-lucky jokester?
Well, you got to
Like,
balance
do I
it
just
out,
need
right?
to stay on your good side?
It's like the guy at work who's like, "Hey, boss, how you doing? I love being my job. I love everybody here." And they get home, they like totally change gear. They change in some of their outfit. And like, "Oh, I hate everybody," you know. And they're like painting crosses upside down on the walls.
Okay,
stuff like that.
don't talk about that. You know, it's so funny that we're talking about this, like the people that are at their job and they're like super happy and then they go home, because we went to dinner at Texas Roadhouse last night.
Shout out, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Texas Roadhouse. But all of their workers have to wear these shirts that say on the back, "I love my job." And I was like, what if you don't? What if you don't? And you have to wear that all shift long. Like, that's torture.
Luckily for them, that logo, that saying is on the back of the shirt. So they don't get to see it really because they're in the mirror. They can't really see it, you know?
But I mean, don't you think that they could, like, I wait for the day when a Texas Roadhouse employee sues the company for emotional damage because they had to get ready every day and they had to wear a shirt that says "I love my job" and they really didn't. And so made them think about, you know, that they were a liar and the company made them into a liar and that they couldn't live with themselves. If you're a Texas Roadhouse employee and you don't love your job, I've just given you a clue to a class action lawsuit.
That might work. I don't know, but are they hooking?
Emotional distress.
Are they paying them in those yummy bread rolls?
Oh, they did. I was noticing on their screen that they have fundraisers now for schools, bread rolls and gift certificates. Did you know that?
No, I had no idea.
I thought
Check
that was a great idea. I love their bread rolls. I would buy them.
Oh, they're delish. We were just scarfing them down last night, especially that cinnamon butter you put on there.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember during the pandemic when we found out that Texas Roadhouse was doing pickup orders and they would send us with the rolls that were frozen, that we'd have to let them rise just a little bit. And so I could keep some in the freezer. I don't know if you remember that, but I remember that. And I like baked them at home and they sent us home with like a container of the cinnamon butter. And it's because Texas Roadhouse opened down here in our town right at the height of the pandemic.
Which I felt bad for them too, because right at the height of the pandemic, this brand new restaurant, first they knock over the old restaurant that was there, knocked it to the ground, and then rebuilt this place.
It was like on the border or something, right?
Right, yeah, which is still a popular chain. Knocked that place down.
It's a popular chain.
So they knocked it down. They put in this Texas Roadhouse, which I'd never heard of Texas Roadhouse before. I didn't know what they even were. And they built it up, and it was like, hey, grand opening, and we're shut down because of COVID. And then they
put the big old tent in their parking lot. Man.
But they were still busy, even with the tent.
Yeah, they were. You know what's so crazy? I was thinking about, honey, as we're talking about COVID, is Do you realize that in like 3 short weeks, we are approaching the 3-year anniversary of when COVID led to the shutdown?
No way.
It was March 2020.
It seemed like it was just yesterday.
I know. And you know what's so crazy is we're having a COVID outbreak at work right now. I was just telling you that some of my coworkers went to this conference and they dropping like flies. I'm getting emails left and right tonight. And so it just reminds me, like, even though we're out of the major parts of COVID being so severe that it's still severe for some people, that it still hasn't gone away completely.
Has there been a major death toll still, the death clock or whatever they had on CNN? Remember the thing you used to have during COVID? Is it still happening or what's the deal?
I don't think people are really tracking it as much anymore because it's not like it used to be, which is so bizarre to me because it went so rampant and so severe so quickly. And now it's like less severe, but it's still happening. And it just made me wonder, like, I thought that viruses get, like, when they adapt and they morph, that they get stronger instead of getting weaker. It's so weird.
You know, it probably sounds like an episode of Love, Death, and Robots. It's totally
Which one is it going to be? Love? I love you so much that I gave you my virus, that I killed you.
I think the episode, I have to check that one out if they have that one on there. I'm sure they did. The stories are just like that, you know. But I just heard today that the actual China, the laboratory confirmed.
Oh, I heard something. Tell me.
They confirmed that the virus was actually leaked from the China lab.
Like, how was it leaked?
I didn't see
like
that.
In the water?
I just saw the headline. I didn't see the actual like full story, but it just said that it was confirmed that it was leaked. There's actually TMZ broke it, so I trust TMZ. You know,
because they're super reliable source.
Well, they actually are. You know, I mean, they broke all the headlines and news. Who's dating who? They got it down first. You know what I'm saying?
Who broke up with who? This is very true. No, I saw it on like Apple News, but it was one of those paywalls that you have to like pay for Apple News to get it.
Yeah, I saw that too. They do the thing with Apple stuff where like it's on that news feed deal where you can get the samples of the episodes or samples. It's almost like podcasts.
Samples of the column or whatever, but then it's like you see the first 3 sentences.
Well, that's all you really need. It's all you need to go off of these days. Just a title and a picture.
And then you just come up with the rest of the story in your own.
Yeah. So I'm going to come up with the rest of the story. So by the way, when they found the virus, how they leaked it out of there was actually a monkey took it.
Don't say that.
And the why not?
Because you're making up fake news and people aren't going to listen to us. We are not making fun of a virus that killed so many people. We just need to too soon.
Okay.
Too soon. It's been 3 years, but it's still too soon.
Well, I'm actually, as you killed my joke, I was trying to say the plot line for the movie Outbreak, but okay.
Yeah, no, thank you. But
it was a monkey in that movie, right?
It was a monkey.
Now, he was the bad guy or the good monkey? I forget. They found the host, or I forget, like they're blowing some town up or something.
Now I'm going to have a nightmare about monkeys, and that's going to be another episode of Love, Death, and Robots.
I think I did. There was one about rats.
Love, Death, and Monkeys. Okay. No. I'm towing the line on no more. One other thing I did this weekend.
Oh, tell me.
Well, you know what I did because I did it for you out of my love and affection for you. Is what did I do in the garage?
You cleaned all the clutter. Actually, you can put a car in there again.
I did it.
Wow.
And did I have any help?
No, you did all yourself, babe. Good job.
Other than you helping me put the Christmas trees up above, you left me to my own devices. I, by the way, was very hurt.
Why?
Because you left me and you were like, I gotta go get the kids. And you didn't even invite me to go to lunch with you guys.
What, today or yesterday?
Yesterday.
Where did we go to get lunch yesterday?
I don't know. You took off and you left and you took the kids and you were gone. And you left the little person, me, at home to clean up after everybody else's messes. And I didn't even get invited.
Oh, sorry, but I didn't know if you wanted to go with us at In-N-Out Burger.
But I didn't get invited.
Well, hey, honey, you want to go In-N-Out tomorrow?
Nope. I'm working tomorrow.
See, I invited you.
I get Urbane Cafe tomorrow for lunch.
Oh,
I'm very excited.
Fantastic. Now, for those who don't know, what is Urbane Cafe?
Urbane Cafe, it's a place, it's like a fast casual restaurant here in San Diego. And I think they have a couple of locations in other areas of Southern California. But it's really great because they make their own bread, but it's not like a hamburger bun bread. It's kind of like focaccia bread. It's so good. And they bake it fresh. So it's flatter. It's a little bit denser. But oh my gosh, their sandwiches, their salads are so good. And it's healthy stuff. And Urbane Cafe is so delicious.
So it's like sandwiches and soup, right?
No soup, sandwiches and salads.
It's like Panera bread.
No, don't put them at that level.
Oh, sorry.
It's like
I'm so sorry.
it's like gourmet bread.
I got you. You're looking forward to that tomorrow.
I am. We're having the training tomorrow, and the catering is coming from Urbane Cafe. And we're having Panera for breakfast. So bread all day long.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, is there anything else happening this week, baby?
Not really. Just, with my work stuff tomorrow, we're getting ready for, it's this big, like I was saying, it's like this countywide project, and it's requiring us to do a lot of work around like understanding our district needs and figuring out how to support them. And it's requiring us to do a lot of collaboration and collaborative thinking and collaborative planning. And, I was just thinking about, because we had this really great guest that we're going to hear from shortly about some different skills around collaboration that really were helpful for me as I was getting ready to prepare for this presentation and this work with these districts. And I think our listeners are really going to like him.
Well, that is fantastic. Well, speaking of him, we have our fantastic VIP guest speaking all about collaboration coming to us from the land down under.
And we'll be back with him right after this.
Enjoy listening to podcasts and ever wonder, can I make a podcast? But it seems so complicated, and good audio production can take time. What if there was a way to create an amazing podcast easily? Well, now there is. Introducing Podcasting Made Easy from Podtastic Audio. My production team will handle your entire audio production, allowing you to be the star of your show. This is Podcasting Made Easy. How easy? Well, so easy, you don't even have to press record. Now that's easy. Your listeners are waiting. Let's deliver. Sign up for a free strategy call today at podtasticaudio.com/easy.
And welcome back, everybody. Today we have another fantastic VIP guest. He is an author, speaker, and master in professional communication. Welcome to the show, Peter Anthony.
G'day, Chris. G'day, Kristine from Manly in Sydney, Australia.
Hey, how's the weather in Australia? You guys are a day ahead, right?
Yeah, we're just coming off the end of summer, so it's about 34 degrees Celsius, which I can't remember how to translate that back into
about 70
Fahrenheit.
degrees,
It's
I think,
warm.
isn't it?
I don't know. I can never do the math. I can't figure out if it's 2.5, 3.5, or 7 degrees per everyone for Celsius.
It's 2 and a bit times that, so it'd be, I don't know, 100-ish Fahrenheit.
Oh, wow.
Warm,
Nice.
humid. We've just come off a season of floods because 2 or 3 El Nino weather systems decided to join up and dump rain on us for 4 or 5 months. So usually this time of the year we get lots of bushfires. But this year, because of the flooding last year, everything's wet, so no bushfires, which is fantastic.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because over on this side of the pond, we have had some, they called them atmospheric rivers. So kind of afterbursts from El Nino, but we had several weeks of these atmospheric rivers that dumped tremendous amounts of water in California, where we're based. And so there's been lots of flooding, and actually it's been quite a rainy day today. So opposite weather.
Yeah, we got the rain today. I was hoping that the rain would just turn around. We might see some sunshine, but
didn't happen.
It snuck back up on us, and it got rain all over again. Gosh.
Now, Peter, living in or near Manly Beach, are you a surfer?
I'm a surfer and an ocean swimmer and a kayak paddler. I love anything in the water, especially when it's raining, Kristine. There's nothing quite like being in the ocean when the rain's pouring down, because you can't get wet, right, because you're wet already.
Right.
It's magnificent. Like around dawn, it drives my wife nuts, because I like swimming as the sun rises, because as I turn to my left, I can just see a huge red and yellow ball on the ocean just rising up. And the ocean's nice and grey. It's just the most beautiful place to swim in the world. And I've been to San Diego, so I know.
Oh, really? You've been over here, huh?
I have, yeah. For my sins, clients fly me to places like that to run programs for them. So, yeah, I've been up and down. I've also been up north to the Monterey Peninsula, I think it was called.
Oh, yes.
Clint Eastwood country.
Yeah, Monterey, Carmel area, definitely beautiful.
Carmel, yeah, that's Clint Eastwood was the mayor there, and I got a chance to play some golf
Pebble
a US
Beach.
Open golf course at Pebble Beach, which was awesome.
It's definitely beautiful. So I'm sure you got to venture onto the 17-mile drive, which is where Pebble Beach is located. It's beautiful up there.
Yes. I managed to, a friend of mine and I drove up and he allowed me to drive. But the bizarre thing is you guys, not just the wrong side of the road, but the wrong side of the car.
That's how it works. You
I'm
guys are on
sitting
the
in
other
the
side of the car
passenger
too.
seat driving on the wrong side, which I'm fine, but until I get to a roundabout. And that's
Oh, yeah.
because I'm the wrong side of the car, wrong side of the road. I just kept going round and around and around and around, trying to get out of this thing. It took us a little bit of extra. It was a long, leisurely drive, let's put it that way.
That's funny.
Have you seen those new cars they're coming out with, Peter, that are like the driver's seats in the middle of the car?
What?
Yeah, I saw one. There's a billboard for one by my work today. I think it's like a small, like electric kind of deal to kind of like a small car kind of thing. And it's like the seats in the only one person car, seats in the middle. That'll kind of throw
It's
me
like a
off.
bumper car.
Maybe, or a go-kart perhaps. But
Oh, yeah.
it's kind of
Wow.
weird because whatever side of the road you're on, it wouldn't make a difference if you're on your side of the street or our side of the street.
In the middle of the car.
Right.
I want to get one of those cars, Chris, that Elon Musk makes that not only drives itself, but what I like about it is it finds car spaces.
Oh, the
A
Teslas?
friend of mine's got one, and we drive in like a multi-level car park, and it knows where the car spaces are, and he can press a button and it parks itself as well.
No way.
I've heard
I like
about
that a
people
lot.
that can like beckon the car out. Like if it's parked, that they can like press a button and it unparks itself and comes to pick you up.
It comes to you. Yeah, it doesn't need a driver at all, Christine. It just drives itself.
What's
in
the
fact,
fun in
it's,
that? You know?
Now,
Depends what sort of car. I guess if you got we drove up to Carmel in a Mustang, which was very cool.
There
we
you
hired
go.
a Mustang. Now I can't imagine like a driverless Mustang because you want to hear that grunt and get the hair, like the air and whatever hair you've got left in my case, and enjoy the ride.
so the Tesla, I'm guessing, is the car that you're referring to that Elon Musk makes. Do they have
Yes.
the steering wheels and everything on the Australian side of the car, or do they come
They
to
do
you
here.
fitted for the
Yeah,
American?
They
Okay,
do here on the Australian side.
all right.
Or actually Japan side too.
Is it Japan
But
too?
Yeah.
I think it's also the English side. I think in England it's also on that side
It
of the
is
car.
too. That's right.
So we're the
In the
only
UK.
ones.
I think now is the US the only place that has it the other way around? Other than maybe
I
Canada.
think so.
Well, Canada and Mexico, I think, do also. I think they are the same way. But they also use the kilometers. We use miles per hour over here. You guys use kilometers
yeah.
too. So it
Yeah,
throws everything.
yeah.
And liters, when you guys at the gas station, you guys go liters for how much gas you put in your car. Yeah.
But Chris, you've got to drive further when you drive a mile than when you drive a kilometre. It's a lot further.
Yeah, this is true.
It's a
Definitely.
lot
Yeah.
further.
I used to run cross country back in the day, races on foot, and I did the 5K race a lot because that was 5 kilometers, which came out to like 3.1 miles. But I had to figure that out. So, 5K sounds like, I did 5K. Check that out. But only did 3 miles though.
5K.
So
Yeah,
important
it's-
question.
I think that part of the world is as close as possible to Australia. I think of like the west coast of the US. I think it's probably the most like the Australian coast. It's very similar. It's like almost like being at home.
Absolutely. So important question. What's more, a
Yes.
pound or a kilogram?
What weighs more? A kilo. A kilo weighs more than a pound. I think
Okay.
a kilo is about 2.2, 2.3 pounds.
So when I'm doing weight loss, I prefer to measure in pounds because then it feels like I've lost more than if it was a kilogram. And then,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
Yes, yes.
now
Yeah.
demystify something for me. So I know there's, in many of the metric system countries, there's different phrases, but somebody recently said that they lost a stone. What is that when somebody refers to that in a measurement system? Is that a term that you're familiar with in Australia?
Yes, I do. I'm familiar with that. That's 14 pounds is a stone. It's an English stone.
Okay, when somebody said they lost a stone, I was thinking that was like a medical condition, like a kidney stone or something.
Well, I
They
was
could have lost a
thinking,
kidney stone, I guess.
yeah,
I'm
we
thinking
passed
in
it.
terms of weight. It's about I think it's 14 pounds from memory because I've spent a bit of time in the UK too, and they use pounds and stones.
Oh,
Not kilos.
wow. Well, so Peter, you're joining us from Australia today. Have you lived in the beautiful country of Australia your entire life?
I hate to admit it, Christine. I was born in Manly Hospital.
Oh,
I still live there.
in the
And
hospital?
fact, Pardon?
In the hospital itself?
No, I don't live in the I didn't graduate out of the hospital. I'm still a baby.
Wow, there's another world out there. You can check it out.
I know. I'm going to get out of the maternity ward eventually. No, and the bizarre thing, or the interesting thing, I was just talking about swimming, and I swim from a beach called Manly Beach, which is a surf beach, to a smaller sort of more protected beach called Shelley Beach, and there's a walkway that goes between those beaches, and that walkway was the first place that my mother or my dad kissed my mum.
No way. Awesome.
Yeah. He was a Manly boy. She was a country girl. She came from the south coast, from a lumberjack family in the south coast of New South Wales. She was up with her best friend Victoria on a holiday for a week or so. She went to a local, we call them pub or hotel or bar, and met my dad. And my dad took her for a walk between Manly Beach and Shelley Beach, and that's the first place he kissed her. So it's a very special place for me.
Wow, that's amazing. You don't meet very many people, even those that we've interviewed from Australia, that have grown up and still continue to live in the same place. Now, with that being said, have you traveled very much outside of your little city? Are you an international traveler?
Well, it depends when you're talking about, Kristine. Up until I was 15 or 16, I hadn't even caught a bus. I walked to primary school, walked to secondary school. All my friends lived in a couple of streets around me. But since then, I guess ideally, I've managed to travel to most places in the world. I personally, and I've also worked in 12 different countries.
Wow.
So, and what I like to do too is have like little breaks off the back of a working trip. Like I got a trip 5 years ago to Cairo in Egypt, and I worked there for 10 days. And while I was there, I worked with a lot of the locals, obviously. And I said, "What's your advice? Where should we go?" Because the best advice to get in terms of traveling is from the locals.
Right.
So I'll do like a short trip myself for a couple of days to check things out, and then invite my wife for a trip, because I've got it. Rather than reading a travel brochure, you can get it from the locals.
Oh, that's amazing.
Nice.
Now, with all of these different places that you've traveled, whether it's for work or for fun, what would be your top 3 favorite places that you visited?
Top 3 favorite places, I'd say Isle of Iona in northern Scotland, which is a gorgeous little island, which is the first place England got conquered through when the Vikings came through.
Wow.
It's a little island. It's got like one little like cottage hotel that's got about 10 beds in it. You're looking straight northeast across the North Sea. It's just a beautiful, beautiful remote place. It's hard to get to, but it's well worth the visit. That would be one special place.
Wow.
The opposite end of the scale would be Shanghai. That's an awesome city in China. It's an awesome blend of Oriental and Asian meets Western, so it's hugely advanced and modernized, but it's kept all of its local Chinese culture.
Nice. Yeah, I heard of Shanghai is nice.
Yeah, Shanghai is an awesome place. It's there's got a river called the Bund that runs through the middle of it, and it's just a great. It's got great nightclubs and bars and restaurants. It has awesome daytime activities. They've got the high speed rail.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They build in straight lines, which goes super fast. So that'd be my second. And I think my third would be Carmel.
Oh, yes.
Right.
For the people, for the golf course, I mean, I got the chance to play on Pebble Beach. I was with a couple of very close friends. So it was, that was awesome. That was awesome.
It's definitely a really beautiful place, very picturesque, very serene.
A lot of postcards come out of there, I believe. I think.
Definitely lots of, beautiful scenery and beautiful beaches. Now, definitely the water is not the warmest up there. So I don't know if you ventured out to do any type of surfing or water sports, but it's quite chilly over there.
Yeah, full wetsuit required.
Kristine, I like it cold.
Oh, do you?
I like it cold. I don't like warm water. I like it cold. There's and I know now why, because I stumbled across this guy called Wim Hof and the Wim Hof method, and he talks about ice therapy and cold therapy, and everyone thought he was he's a bit of a lunatic, but he's since been proved correct that there are really awesome physiological medicinal benefits of being in cold water or being like in ice. So I like it cold.
Right. There's like the big movement for cryotherapy and ice baths and things like that.
Yeah.
And I like cold water to a certain extent, but I don't know. Sometimes the ocean water here in California is very brisk.
Yeah, well, that's just cool. You want to go cold, but once you go cold, you won't go back, Kristine.
Really? Do you kind of acclimate to it after the first few minutes to where it doesn't feel so cold?
You acclimate. a lot of my mates are into Wim Hof, and in fact, I'm seriously considering buying an ice bath for home because it's a bit hard. If you want to take an ice bath, you've got to go and buy the ice, put it in the bath, fill it up. It's a pain.
It's a process. It sounds like
it's a real hassle. And the guys at the gas station think that you're nuts when you're buying 10 bags of ice to put in your bath.
Right.
They think you're a little bit crazy, and they're probably right. But you can buy them now. You can buy it's almost like a barrel you sit in, and you can set it for the morning, and you get up and have like an ice cold plunge. In fact, one of your fellow podcasters, Joe Rogan, does that every morning.
Really?
Yeah, I seen him do that on Instagram.
Yeah. He's got one of these ice baths. He hops in every single, and he says that's the best way to start the day. And I've got to agree with Joe.
Yeah, well, I think that would be a very interesting way to wake up in the morning. Definitely puts a little hair on your chest. Not that that's something that I would want, but
But I wonder the people that live in Minnesota right now are saying ice baths. Go outside. My goodness, walk down my street. That's all you need.
Well, that's what Wim does. I think Wim's was originally in Holland, and he's moved over to Poland. He's bought this house on a freezing creek next to a mountain, and he gets his people in his workshops to get the theory, then jump out into the pond, and then to graduate, they've got to just walk up this snowy mountain in their swimsuits.
Yeah, you know what? This is called in the US, it's called a polar bear plunge. And it's something that I did when I was younger. And I would go to winter camp up in the mountains, and it was near this lake. And they'd be like, we're going to do the polar bear plunge. And it's like you run in with your bathing suit, you have to dunk yourself all the way under in the freezing cold water, and then you have to get back out, and then you wrap up, but not sitting in it for prolonged periods of time. So you have my respect for sure.
Well, it gets easier, Kristine. It gets easier. The first bit's the hard bit, the first maybe 30 seconds or so, and then your body just gets acclimated, and it feels you'll never feel as good as after an ice cold bath.
Absolutely. Well, Peter, thanks for sharing so much about a little bit of your background. Kris and I are really excited to learn more about your professional background, as well as you have, I think, some really sage advice for all of us that are entrepreneurs and that are just trying to get better about communication. So before we kick into what you're famous for, why don't you tell us a little bit about your professional journey?
Well, my journey's been an interesting one, Kristine. I did an economics degree and joined IBM originally back in the day when they gave you a year of sales training when you first recruited, and I thought that's a great idea. I want to do business. It'd be great to learn how to sell, and in that I was put with a mentor. And what I found was when I first joined, I was selling easily with my mentor. We were having a lot of success, and we were like registering for like what they call Golden Circle and 100% Club. Mm-hmm. And I found the longer I got through the sales year or the sales training, that the less I sold. And it began to dawn on me that I'm not sure this selling thing really works.
What?
And that was like why? There's a couple of reasons why. Let me ask you a question, Kris. Have you ever been sold to?
Probably. I mean, I would think.
Okay, let me tell you, Peter. He is the most gullible person. He's the most gullible person on the face of the planet. When we go into every summer there's a fair in San Diego area, the county fair, and they have this exhibit hall that has all of these small booths and kiosks, and it's like the infomercials on TV, and it's like this can magically take,
It slices, it dices, and it does your laundry.
Yeah, I know them.
and then he
I
comes
love
home
those guys that pitch that stuff, though. I love
and he
listening to
buys
them.
all of it because I have the evidence of it in my house. So yes,
Oh,
he's been
God.
sold to, and he buys it all.
I'm exactly the same. I'm a sucker for that. I went to a party, if you call it a party, recently. I went with as a partner to my wife, and they were selling these. I think they're called Thermomixes, which are like $3,000 food processing machines. And before I went, I thought, who in the world would buy a Thermomix? It's nuts, right? And of course, at the end of the session, I ended up signing up for a Thermomix. We've got this like $2,500 glorified food processor.
Wow.
Which is
Does it do your shopping for you too?
But it's so complicated, though, Chris. It almost like a SpaceX degree to understand how this thing works. And I only use it for very simple things because I haven't got the brains to work out how to run this thing like it's supposed to run. So I'm a sucker. What I'm thinking about, though, like when you feel like you're being sold to, you think, well, I'm gonna become a buyer. I'm going to do what a buyer does. And usually when you're a buyer, you tend to like distance yourself from the people that are selling to you. You tend to get a bit cynical about what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
You'll put like downward pressure on price because you want a good deal. And what I found, I guess that was the beginning of the journey. I just found this selling thing didn't work, but I didn't have an alternative. I then I moved from selling into advertising and spent almost 10 years working with 3 global advertising agencies, working on the big brands like the McDonald's and the Nikes and the like. And then I started my own consulting business because I was told, you know what, Peter, you should do this yourself. So I thought, yeah, okay, I've learned all about selling from IBM. I've done that really well. I've done the advertising really well. Nothing can go wrong. I'd recently got married, had a couple of little babies. And so I thought, yep, I'm going to go out and teach people how to sell. And I came within a hair's whisker of going broke.
Really?
Wow.
Like very, very close. We had a big mortgage. My wife wasn't working. She was caring for our 2 children. There's 5 now. But in those days, there was 2, and of course that was causing a bit of concern with her. She thought, "Wow, I've had these babies. This guy's out running his business. He's attempting to teach people selling, and it didn't work." And what I had to learn very quickly, what dawned on me when I was just sitting in an Emirates airline lounge one morning on the way to a client workshop, and it dawned on me. I thought, what if I do the opposite? So if selling doesn't work, maybe the opposite does work.
Buying everything?
The help of everything the opposite. Everything the opposite.
But the opposite of selling is buying. So did you buy everything?
No, the opposite of selling is collaborating.
Huh?
You just threw a wrench in Kristine's brain.
Yeah, I've just thrown a wrench in your brain. I can hear it rattling. The big wrench. That's a horrible metaphor, isn't it? This wrench in the head. But it's the opposite because I don't want people to buy or sell. Because if I'm only buying from someone selling something to me, what I found that I went back to college and did the masters in this, and what I found was that if you think of the opposite of selling, it works on both sides. So because most of the environments I'm working in are business to business sales environments primarily. And you think, okay, well, the clients that are your clients, if you like, or the companies that are your clients, they benefit from a collaborative relationship as much as the so-called selling organization does. And particularly if you're engaged in a higher ticket item, whether you're selling engineering consulting or computers or whatever it may be, what we found and what the research suggests, and the most recent research I saw was from Wharton Business School, and they call it client centricity or customer centricity. And they researched, I think it was like 3,000 organizations around the world, and they found the companies that had the client or the customer at the center of the relationship, the center of the business, were the ones that experienced the most profitable growth. And that's just a different way of saying we collaborate. Now, this took me a couple of years to develop with the help of many clients who I was working with, and one client you'll love. I worked with them in the UK. They're a large engineering consulting firm, and the head of the UK was coming back to Singapore to do some work with me. And I met him in his office in Singapore. And he came into his office and he was furious. I said, "What's going on? Like, why so angry?" He said, "Look, I just I got a car from the airport, and I parked it in the front of the building here. It just said, senior executive CEO parking." I said, "What's wrong with that?" And he said, "Because the customer car parks are at the back of the building."
Oh.
And what we are telling our customers is that you are at best the second-rate people in this business, because all the senior execs were at the front. And he demanded and got his way that all the customer parking was at the very front of the building, because he wanted them to get the impression immediately, engaging with them as an engineering consulting firm, that clients and customers were number one.
That's how they do it here too. I think we do have businesses that they will have the dedicated clients or customer parking spaces right in front. Isn't that right, Kristine?
Some of them do, but like I work in education, and it's not uncommon when you pull up to a school site to see like the very first parking spots are the head of school, the principal, the assistant principal, the library media teacher, and then you have staff,
and then there's librarian and
right, and there may be like 2 spots for parents or guests up front, and
we
then
park
the rest
down the lower dirt lot as parents do.
Basically, but that does. I never thought about what message that sends.
Well, it gives the message that the principal's the most important person in the school. They're absolutely not. They're absolutely not. And you can think of any organization like that. So, and he with me developed this method that I now call Collabradabra, or the magic of collaboration. And it works for cultures, it works for teams, it works for individuals, and it even works in romantic relationships. And I know through looking at your podcast and loving it that initially this was a lot more about relationships. And if you look at the most successful romantic relationships, they're collaborations. And the John Gottman at Washington State University has done some great work on this. And he just gets couples to sit on the couch and talk to each other. Mm-hmm. And he content analyzes the conversation. And he can predict whether that couple will still be together in 5 years just by how they're talking to each other.
Oh, wow.
He's looking for what he calls the 5 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Whoa!
So it works in romance too. It works in relationships as well.
Wow!
Because essentially a marriage it's a collaboration. I mean, it's an awesome collaboration, but essentially it's a collaboration.
So Peter, when you talk about collaboration, 2 different things come to my mind. So I think of 2 different definitions of collaboration. One is the social media influencer approach to interacting with brands to secure discounted or free content in exchange for exposure. And they refer to that as collab or collaboration. And then the other definition of collaboration is around communication. And so immediately when you started talking about sales, I went to, he's talking about people figuring out how to get stuff for free and like free marketing. But it sounds like when you're talking about collaboration, you're actually talking about the communication aspect, which is kind of like puzzling to me. Like, can you tell us more about how collaboration is similar to sales?
Well, it isn't the social media variety because that's purely a commercial transaction between those parties, and the loser is typically the listener. Mm. Because they're being like, if I'm Kim Kardashian, I'm going to promote a brand of perfume or a handbag or whatever it is I'm promoting. I'm doing that for me, not for you. You might enjoy the handbag or the whatever she's promoting, but she's doing it more for herself than.
Is she really? Man,
yeah, I think so, Chris. I think they're very successful at it though. She's got $1 billion business all by herself, so that's I'm not knocking it.
I know.
What I'm talking about, though, is a commercial relationship, between one organization and another, where a supplying organization, if you like, whether you're supplying consulting services or engineering services or cars or whatever it might be you're providing, you decide to put that particular client at the center of your business. And ideally, the client you're working for puts their client at the center of their business. And the good research suggests that that you will both get better outcomes if you're in a long-term relationship. Like if we're fighting over if we catch ferries to and from Manning to the city and back, if you're the last ferry at night and you're trying to get on the last seat in the ferry, it might encourage you to shoulder somebody out of the way or just push in front of someone because you're never going to see that person again potentially. But if you are involved in a longer term relationship, you're both better off. So, and a lot of people call this a sales relationship. What I call it is a client-centric relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it absolutely does. So, I'd love to get some more specific examples. And I was mentioning right before we started recording that Kris and I are both entrepreneurs. So, in addition to our main jobs, we are involved in service related industry types of businesses. So Kris is in podcast production and engineering services, and mine is in wedding and event production. And so how could we apply the principles of your model that you referred to, like Collabradabra, to either one of our contexts?
I'll take weddings.
Okay. I'll take weddings for two.
I'll take weddings for two. That's like Saturday Night Live. I love that Will Ferrell Saturday Night Live.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
That's still rings in my brain. I love that guy. So I've never worked in a wedding space. So forgive me if I don't understand it properly. I've only done it once.
That's okay,
and I don't really plan to do it again.
Okay, but you've been to weddings, I assume, right? You've seen how they're done, right?
I've been to weddings, and I know people. Actually, it's interesting. My eldest daughter's partner's mother. If that makes any sense.
Right.
She runs a bridal gown business.
Oh, okay.
So I've got a little bit of inside knowledge.
Right.
Okay. If I was advising you, Kristine, on a client centric or collaborative approach to the wedding and event business, what the first question I'd be asking you is, who is your ideal client? And the answer wouldn't be brides. The answer would be a very specific type of bride. And if you're interested in profitable revenue, looking at brides that are interested in something quite special, something the most memorable day of their lives, which ideally it would be. Think, okay, who is she? Who is my ideal client? So I'm imagining most of the clients are going to be brides. And the second question to ask is, how do I make ourselves or our business more ideal for them? And what you're doing there is looking at, all the client research I see, and I'm imagining brides would be the same. The exit research suggests the organization should provide the best client service. It's not about products, not about price. The phrase they use is, I like somebody with a unique understanding of my needs and my environment. And that unique part is crucial. And once you get that unique part, you can start crafting a value proposition with them, not to them. And I'd recommend bring some ex-clients in to a meeting, invite, 10 people that you've worked with, or 10 people that were happy and even ones that are unhappy, and say, look, not satisfaction, not how satisfied were you with us, but think of all the parameters of an ideal relationship, of which there could be 10, and give it a marker between 1 and 9, and say, okay, how did you experience us on this level? Like, quality, timeliness, cost effectiveness of food, whatever the event venue, whatever all the pieces might be. And ideally, how would you like to experience us? And that's going to help you craft a value proposition for your business, Kristine, which is unique to Kristine. It's valuable to the brides, and it's impossible to replicate by a competitor. And I would go hard on that. I'd go very hard. And I'd be asking them, I'd be having lunch with them, having coffee with them, meeting them, either that's one-on-one or as a group, and have that conversation with them. I do this regularly with clients of my clients. I run facilitated workshops with their clients to help my organization understand how to become more ideal. Because I go to boardrooms all the time, Kristine, full of people sitting down trying to predict what the customer's looking for. And The customers are the ones that understand their needs potentially the best. And the last thought I'll leave you with there is that satisfaction will kill you.
Tell me more.
I think Mick Jagger sang something about "I can't get no satisfaction." That's a song from customers, because what the research also suggests is that 80% of customers that are satisfied with their service provider is happy to change provider.
Mm-hmm.
So satisfaction's not enough. Now, I'm sure if you guys said to each other, you know what, guys, let's have a satisfactory marriage. I'd like to be a satisfactory husband to you. It wouldn't last long.
Tell me, Kristine,
Or
can
if
be
I said to my
satisfactory?
kids, you're looking for a lot more than satisfaction, right? You're looking for something that is
Spectacular.
unique, that really delights you. You think, well, how do we go about doing that? And we ask them, look, and I'd say to them directly, I say to my clients, look, I'd like to be. My goal is for you to have an ideal experience in working with me.
Mm-hmm.
How could I make what I'm doing more ideal for you? And then if it's too far outside my skill set, they're not an ideal client, because I like to niche down, or you guys call it niche down, and get really, really good at providing excellent value to the clients that I'm working with, because you've got a huge sales force, Kristine. Every bride you've worked with is your sales organization, and
Look at that.
their mums and their family. That's your sales organization. You want her selling you. So you should go and talk to Kristine. It was awesome. Why was it awesome? Well, this and this and this and this. Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. And I like how you were referencing that term of niche down. Kris and I have been talking about that, and I've been working with a marketing firm and with a business coach to help me get really clear on who my ideal client is and how my company is aligned with attracting the ideal client. And what I was realizing is that I was creating a one-size-fits-all approach to my business, which was allowing me to get a really steady flow of clients coming in, but I was serving individuals that weren't my ideal client, which was leading to frustration. And
let me tell you, we've had some serious horror stories with
but
Kristine's
but it's a great
bridezillas.
but it's a great business, and so the getting clearer on who comprises that ideal client is important. And I think because Kris has just been on the earlier end of starting his business. Kris, have you been able to really get clear about who your ideal client is and pursue that niche with like collaborating with individuals in that space versus feeling like transactional sales?
Well, as you said, I am still starting out in this whole journey here. I have one client and they've been very good for right now, and I'd like to get more, but I do feel like I don't want to just take on anybody, that it just has to be a particular person that's very passionate about what I do and loves what I do and can actually understand and grapple with the fact that having a podcast, an audio podcast that is put together well and sounds really good, it can be very valuable to your business.
Yeah,
absolutely. And what I'd suggest, Kris, is if you're starting the business, to bring ideal clients or potential clients, in your case, into the tent and say, look, I'm really interested in creating an ultimate podcast experience for high net worth brands, and I'd like to build it with organizations like yours, and ask them the same sorts of questions. Because part of your pitch is an education pitch, because podcasts are only just becoming, or organizations are only just becoming aware of how useful and valuable they really are.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can help them really get the value from podcasting, and give them the advice and consulting as well as the technical skills, it's extraordinary.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard you got to sell them on the what's in it for me, I guess is what it is, kind of thing. How would it benefit them directly versus the actual podcast itself as the product.
But you may not know, Kris, and I mean that with a ton of respect. You may not. I don't like WIFM because that assumes, like, if I give you my WIFM, it assumes that I know your business, and I don't. So it's more about the collaboration approach is more about getting really curious about like what their brand and marketing goals are, and getting really curious about what they are, why they're there, what their brand essence is, who they're attempting to communicate with, what sort of messages they're attempting to instill in who, and then when you've done that, you can say, well, that's really interesting because what I'm looking towards building can help you with the part D of what you're looking for, or part B of what you're looking for. Let's have that conversation. I don't like with them because it assumes, it makes a lot of assumptions. And the second part I'd suggest is you can't be Toyota and BMW. You can't be both. If I walk into a BMW dealership, I don't want to see Toyotas. If I were to buy a Toyota, I don't want to get the sticker shock of looking at a BMW.
This is true, very true.
BMW showrooms look like BMW showrooms. They look expensive. They've got expensively dressed people there. They're in beautiful premises, a lovely Italian marble on the floor. We go to BMW, it's more cheap and cheerful because they want to give you the impression this is not an expensive place to engage in a motor car purchase. So you've got to work out who you are. And if I had a choice, I'd be BMW, not Toyota. I'd rather sell less luxury cars than a lot of low-margin cars.
That's exactly what Kristine was talking about.
Yes, preach. You're totally preaching to the choir right now, Peter, because the pivot that we've made with Kristine Smith Designs, where we started out was, like I said, this kind of one-size-fits-all approach, but now we are a luxury brand that's working with clients of a specific desire for their wedding and a specific vision. And it took me a while to figure out that was the niche, but that was definitely what our business was more aligned with.
Because a lot of the cheaper ones will give you problems, right, Kristine?
I wouldn't say that per se, but it was just where I wanted the company to grow. But my question for you, Peter, is we've been talking about like the sales relationship, but do you help your clients with building their funnel to bring in more leads, or is it just once they're in front of you, how do you close the deal?
Well, I'm not just anti-selling, Kristine. I'm also anti-funnels.
Okay, so tell me more.
I've actually got 2 books in my bookcase here by Russell Brunson and .com Secrets, all about funnels. And the reason I don't like funnels is what that is suggesting is you've got 100 people coming in at the top and 10 people coming down at the bottom. So what you've done is you've unsold 90 people to find 10.
Oh.
What I'd like to do is have a pipe, not a funnel, or a pipeline, not a funnel, and make the decision early on who I'd like to join me in my pipe to produce the outcomes that we're both looking for. So what I like to do is more work up front, identifying who they are and understanding what an ideal relationship looks like for them. It's a little like dating. I mean, you can go on I've got divorced mates that go on these dating apps, and one of them happens to be an Italian, Marco. And I said, well, how's the dating going so far? He said, great, Peter. I've got 5 dates a week for the next 6 weeks. I'm thinking, well, that's 30 dates. That's such a waste of time and money and effort and emotion, right? Why not get more granular with who you're looking for? Well, I don't know. Well, maybe you should find that out in advance and save the money and the time and the heartache going through those 30 dates.
He's just feeding women is what he's doing.
He's just feeding women. I get, they get a free dinner. That's all he's doing. He's just making the women of Manly bigger. That's unfair to say.
There should be like I got a business card. I'm a woman feeder.
Free meal. Just give me a call. No, he's a lovely, lovely, lovely guy, and he's very dear to my heart for lots of different reasons. And he's a swimmer, which is unusual for any Italians listening. They don't usually love ocean swimming so much. But it's a similar analogy. You're not looking for 30 dates. You're looking for one person that you could potentially create something special with, have a really special relationship with. And it's useful to do that thinking in advance and get them engaged early. And if they say no early, great. But I'm anti-funnel. I don't like 100 leads down to 10 sales. My approach is the complete opposite. The complete opposite. And if your showroom looks like a BMW showroom and your brand looks like a BMW showroom, potential BMW buyers will find you because they're looking for that. If I'm looking for a really sophisticated, really well constructed, artistic bridal experience, I'm looking for the best person who can help me with that. That's Kristine. If you want the cheap and cheerful budget version, go and talk to Toyota Weddings.
I'm tired of weddings.
Yeah.
I love that.
You're going to be quite. You're going to be quite sort of. You're going to be quite not arrogant about that, but you're going to be quite. You're going to be quite obvious about that. This is who we are. I wouldn't say luxury. Luxury can give me the sense that that's like a Rolls Royce. I don't really want a Rolls Royce. I want an awesome motor car I feel proud driving, or I want an awesome wedding I'm proud to invite you to, right? Because the wedding experience, it's about the bride and the groom, obviously, but it's also about all the guests and the experience that they're enjoying at the venue and the food and the whole experience. It becomes the best day of your life, ideally, and that's what I'm here to deliver for you. And
right.
You can't get that for a Toyota price.
That's very true. And
Although some will promise that, but
Well, it's something that I've been working on and I think that getting into this whole the philosophy and psychology of being involved in a sales related business is I think that part of it's the imposter syndrome of if I price myself at this point and I engage in a relationship and I say that this is what the value is that I'm bringing, that's then also not sabotaging and discounting yourself so that you look like you don't believe in your own product and your own brand. And I think that's something that I've been working on. Yeah. I've personally always in the past, not present, but in the past, I always struggled with sales. So I in college did the selling of the Cutco knives, the network marketing. And then I went into the skincare on the side. And I always hated where it's well, you need to build your funnel. You need to make your list of your first 100 people and get your first 100 no's. And I'm but I can't handle that much rejection. I really can't. I can't handle feeling that unsuccessful. So how do you coach people through the mindset of sales and collaboration?
That's a great question. The mindset needs to the three mindsets that the research suggests work. We've talked about one of them already, collaboration. The second mindset or second decision you make is being authentic in your brand or authentic in what you're selling, because what you're doing in establishing Kristine's BMW bridal service is you are creating followership. And you can't create followership by being scared to talk to them. You generate followership by taking some advice from Brene Brown about being authentic and courageous. And the way that she describes courageous is she says it's about telling the story of who you are with your whole heart. So we'd need to wrap Kristine up in this brand and say, this is what you're buying. You're buying my level of care and attention to making this the best day of your life for you, for the groom, and for the whole bridal party. And that's my commitment. And I would be developing your story, your brand story, if you like, around that. The third part is being optimistic, because people are more influenced by optimists. Optimistic, not in terms of what a great job you can do. It's optimistic about the level of outcome this bride can achieve through a relationship with you. And she will buy into that. She'll buy into that vision, if you like.
I think that's a great perspective for sure, because you hit the nail on the head, is that building a wedding related business, it's not about me being the star of the show. It's if I'm doing my job well, then people don't even know that I'm doing my job, because everything is so stress-free and seamless. They just see that you're a beautiful bride floating through your day and as happy as can be. And it's not about me. And like you were saying about the optimism of, oh, I'm so good. It's your wedding will be the purest reflection of your love because I've been able to come alongside of you and keep the focus on the right things.
Yeah.
like that.
And what I do here at Kristine BMW, I hope you don't mind me calling it that, Kristine's BMW Bridal Service, is that we are committed to giving you a unique and valuable experience. We don't sell wedding packages. You can't sell a wedding package because your experience is going to be unique, because your love that you want to celebrate on this day and commit to for the rest of your life is something that is unique and needs unique expression, and it needs to be celebrated in a unique way. And I'm here, I'm Kristine, I'm here to understand what that unique experience looks like for you, and I'm fully committed to delivering it for you. That's my job. That's my job.
Well, Peter, congratulations. I think that with that interview, you just got yourself hired as the first official member of the Kristine Smith Design.
Congratulations, Peter.
You're a junior wedding planner now, Peter.
I'm head of sales for Kristine's Bridal BMW Service.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah. Well, Peter, this has been super fascinating. And I know we talked a little bit about your company and a lot about what you do, but because I know that you have a lot more to offer to our guests in terms of your expertise. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you'd like for them to take away and any resources or websites you'd like to direct them to?
Well, the resource is easy. The resource is my book. It's called Collabradabra. It rhymes with abracadabra because there's magic in collaboration. You could take a look at that on Amazon or wherever you like to buy your books. If you want to find out more about my approach to consulting, whether it's in bridal businesses or podcasting businesses or whatever it may be, just type in Peter Anthony Consulting. You'll find me. I've got a YouTube channel. I've got a ton of stuff on my website, and if it sounds of interest, by all means, reach out and we can talk.
Now, Peter, do you only work with large companies, or do you have different opportunities to engage with you around different levels of coaching so it's accessible to the small up-and-coming business?
Yes, that's a great question. I work with two types. I work with large multinationals as a consultant to them, but I also do one-on-one coaching. And I run virtual workshops too. So,
nice.
I'm actually running one this Friday morning for some guys on the East Coast in the US. Just get a group of about 8 people together. They're usually from different businesses, and I take them through a 3-workshop series. Each workshop takes about 2 hours. And we learn, you learn the strategy, how to apply it in your business. You learn the leadership piece, how to lead it in your business. And finally, the collaborative selling model and how to apply it to your particular business, whatever it might be. And that's what I love doing. Hey, here's the strategy, but the really key thing is the execution. The strategy is only worth how well you can execute it. So, and I love doing that because I love, in weddings or bridal businesses, looking, here's the philosophy, here's how it applies. So if you're keen to have a look at that, check out Peter Anthony Consulting or shoot me an email or contact me through your show. I'd love to hear from you.
Fantastic.
Well, Peter, this has been so insightful. Thank you so much for using my company. It's actually called Kristine Smith Designs as your sample today, or we'll call it Kristine's BMW Bridal Business. And I was thinking, brides marry well, BMW.
There you go.
There we go.
Trademark.
Oh, there you go. The BMW. I like that.
Yeah.
We're going to think I'm thinking for your business, Kristine, think BMW.
Oh,
You're the BMW.
I love that. I really do like that so much. But Peter, this has been so much fun. I know that it's already Tuesday for you, so we hope you have a great Tuesday. Thank you so much for being on the show. And listeners, we'll put all of the links to the show notes. Well, all of the links that Peter mentioned in our show notes, including a link to purchase his book. Make sure you get it. It's going to be good. Peter, thanks so much for being on the show today.
Absolute pleasure, guys.
Thanks, Peter.
If you love music and podcasting, now you can have both. Introducing the brand new K2 radio station, available 24/7 on the Live 365 app for free.
Specializing in rock and alternative music, we're talking bands like Coldplay, Nirvana, Muse, Imagine Dragons, and yes, even the Rolling Stones. They have all stopped by to drop off songs, and we even have brand new popular tracks added every single day.
Also on the free K2 radio station, we are including podcasting. Get the best of both worlds. Download the free Live 365 app or listen online at live365.com and type in K2 Radio.
You know, that was fantastic having Peter on the show today.
Absolutely. I learned so much from his conversation around collaboration and his approach to collaboration. And I really have taken it to heart. And I feel like, when he was talking about collaboration in relationships and then also professionally, I don't know. It just makes me think about the way that you and I communicate in our relationship because, we have our marital relationship, our marriage relationship, but then we also have our business relationship with Christine Smith Designs and then our business relationship with the podcast. And sometimes it's hard when we're like, if you think about it, even though we have our own separate jobs, we're running a family together and two businesses together. And if we're not careful, it can feel like too businessy in our marriage. And sometimes I get frustrated about that. And so we need to work on that.
Okay. Well, drink up, baby. Drink up.
Is that your way of telling me to simmer down or sip it down?
I heard this long ago. Never tell a woman to simmer down. I think it's especially when she's heated. It's like,
I have told you that. No, it's not even simmer down because you'll say calm down, and I'm like, yeah. What does it do?
It pisses you off. It's like, hey, I know what's going to put this fire out. Gasoline. And you throw gas on the fire. You're like, hey, calm down. And you're like, and then you kind of get fiery.
Yeah. To all of you newlyweds out there or gentlemen that are starting to date a lady, if she's ever getting upset about something, don't ever tell her she's overreacting, and don't ever tell her to take a chill pill or to simmer down or to calm down.
Right.
Opposite effect immediately.
Right. And never use any derogatory terms like sweetie or
sugar,
pumpkin, or hey, sweetie, that coffee I like that coffee now, please. Especially when she's mad.
It's not funny.
Especially when she's mad.
It's not funny.
I'm not laughing.
It's never funny.
Especially when she's mad.
You think it's funny? So here's the thing, people. Chris thinks that jokes like that are funny, and he'll make those little jokes thinking that people are going to find them hilarious when he's the only one that finds them hilarious and everybody else on the face of the planet finds it offensive.
I'm laughing on the inside.
No, you're laughing on the outside. You're still that kid. I love you dearly, but you still are that awkward 7th grade boy that's trying to be the shock jock and get all of the shocks. And it's like, let me say that and see how she reacts. I'm like, just don't. Just be
come on now.
Be a kind human.
Be cool, man. Be cool. That's all I was gonna say.
So not cool, dude. That's what the kids say. They're like, it's so not cool. What the flip, man?
Yeah.
What the flip, dude? Well, anything else you want to say, Chris? Anything you want to say?
Well, I want to say thank you for listening to us today. We really appreciate you being here. We do this podcast for you, the listener. And we just say thanks, man. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, totally cool, dude. He's totally such a California guy. You know what I just noticed? I'm sorry, I have to change the subject before this.
Okay. So
I'm looking here around our studio, and I'm noticing that your pen cup that you have on your desk is it's like those graduation mugs that you get with your cap and gown from high school.
It was the one I got from cap and gown in high school.
Oh my gosh, how old is that?
Well, you know what? Actually, they made that with stone from mud they found on the ground. They dug up from the pyramids. That's how old it is.
No, but it's like 1900s. It says I see the 19. You graduated in the 1900s?
Oh, yeah. I mean, steam trains and stuff, that's how we get to school, we hiked, forever, and
uphill, downhill, and
both ways uphill in the snow,
Yeah. you hiked uphill both to school and away from school. It was uphill both times.
Well, sure, why not? Why not? And then we want to hitch a ride. I would stick my thumb out, and then of course, every single time we do that,
the horse and carriage would come.
It would always kick mud right on you.
Oh.
I don't know. Every single time you do that, always mud goes right all over you, like you do in the movies. And then
you're so bizarre.
And you have to spit it out out of your mouth, ugh, yuck, I got mud on me. And then all of a sudden you walk, and then you step in some horse poop.
What story are you telling? This is so bizarre. I was simply asking you if that was really the mug from way back in your graduation from high school.
Yes, it was. Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. You keep it here.
Well, I don't know what to do with that. I drink coffee out of it. Come on now.
But you keep it close to you. I remember the good old days. I remember when I was at my peak.
Hey, speaking of peak, when I told you that selfish picture I took back in 2005 or whatever it was.
Selfish picture.
No, selfie picture.
Yeah, selfish picture. Okay, everybody, before we go, okay, we're on a roll now. This episode may go late. It's the Mimosas of Kristine. So Kris was like, did I ever show you that selfie of myself on this cruise? So Kris went on this cruise with his sister when he was like, I don't know, like 21 or 24.
No, I was like 30, by the way.
Well, you acted like you were like 21.
Of course I did.
And he has like this button-up shirt that's like open a couple of buttons and like a puka shell necklace. And he's like got his hair.
That was picture.
And you gotta let me tell the story.
Okay.
He's got his hair spiked up and he's like doing this like, hey, what's up, girl? And it's like a selfie, but it like with a digital camera.
Of course, we didn't have phones back then.
Cheers to the inventor of the selfie. Had you patented or trademarked the word at that time, I wonder how much money you would have made by now. Like a penny or two?
I don't think hashtags were available back then. I think
not hashtags, but you could have trademarked the word selfie.
I don't think it was. It was already trademarked, but it wasn't for what you think it was.
Why did you wink at me and go? Okay, for a family-friendly podcast, you like to take it unfriendly.
Well, I mean, it's a mimosas.
You're not drinking anything, but friends, we hope that our Sunday night edition of the Kris and Kristine Show has been fun for you. We appreciate you listening. Kris, where can people find out more about our family-friendly adventures?
Well, you can go on over to the website, which is krisandkristineshow.com.
And you can find links to Podtastic Audio, the Kris and Kristine Show, Kristine Smith Designs. And you can watch some of our family videos of our summer vacations, which are super fun, and keep up with us on all the newest and latest and greatest. Also, if you check out the show notes here, Kris has been including some great links to different resources and tools and information about our great VIP guests from this week. And just, lots of really cool information, right, Kris?
Absolutely,
Don't
babe.
mind me as I'm about to knock over my mimosa.
Yeah, Kristine drinking on the podcast.
What's one way I have to get through life?
Okay.
Yeah, toast, cheers. It's my one time having a mimosa on the show, but we really do appreciate you all. Thanks for bearing with us. We hope you had some fun with us this week, and we look back to being back with you next week.